Om Nam Shivaya. A warm good morning to one and all. Global trends in the recent years indicate that there are often deep historical differences that dictate how countries interpret ideological labels. In the past 2 or 3 decades, there have been greater foreign investment and greater foreign trade, which resulted in the greater integration of production and markets across countries. What does this rapid integration and interconnection between the countries mean? That is what exactly is globalization. Is it a force to economic growth and prosperity? Or is it a force to workforce diversity? Is it fair? Or is it unfair? Is it good? Or is it bad? All these questions would receive different answers from different parts of the world, since people in different walks of life view globalization very differently. So, what exactly is globalization? Globalization is the growth on a worldwide scale. It is the process of integration and international influence of economies and culture. It is understood to have been happening since the beginning of time, but has rapidly accelerated since 1950. Globalization creates greater opportunities for firms in less industrialized countries to tap into more and large markets around the world. Thus, globalization is a fact because of technology, because of integrated global supply chain, because of changes in the transportation. And we are not going to be able to build a wall around that. So today, we the students of Plus 2 Science will help you to clear all your doubts regarding globalization.
When did globalization begin? Many scholars say it started with Columbus' voyage to the New World in 1492. People traveled to nearby and faraway places well before Columbus' voyage. As with future globalizing booms, new technologies played a key role in the Silk Road trade. Advance in metallurgy led to the creation of coins. Advance in transportation led to the building of roads connecting the major empires of the day. And increased agriculture production meant more food could be trafficked between locals. With the information age, globalization went into overdrive. Advance in communication technology launched a new global era. Modern communication satellite meant the 1964 Summer Olympics in Tokyo could be watched in United States for the first time. The wake of globalization in India was first felt in 1990s when the finance minister Dr. Manmohan Singh initiated the economic liberalization plan. Since then, India has gradually become one of the economic giants in the world. Before the 90s, India was probably one of the least preferred economies in the world. But in 1991, saw the nation entering into a new phase of economic reforms under the stewardship of Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. It is called the era of globalization. Indian economy for the first time saw a fundamental shift from its socialist ideologies.
Globalization can be categorized into 8 types: social globalization, technological globalization, financial globalization, economic globalization, political globalization, cultural globalization, ecological globalization, and sociological globalization.
Social globalization refers to the sharing of ideas and information between and through different countries. The social dimension of globalization also refers to the impact of globalization on the life and work of people, on their families and their societies. In today's world, the internet and the social media is at the heart of this. The internet has been instrumental in connecting people across geographical boundaries. Good examples of social globalization could include internationally popular films, books, and TV series. However, this cultural flow tends to flow from the sender, that is, from developed countries such as the USA, to less developed countries. Concerns and issues are often raised about the impact of globalization on employment, working conditions, income, and social protection. Beyond the world of work, the social dimension encompasses security, culture, and identity. inclusion or exclusion, and the cohesiveness of families and community.
Technological globalization. Technological globalization can be defined as the increasing speed of technological diffusion across the global economy. It refers to the spread of technologies around the globe and particularly from developed to developing nations. With rapid developments in technological innovations in the 21st century and increased ease and speed at which we can move technologies across the world economy, technological globalization is occurring at a faster rate than ever. Some examples of technological globalization are growth of multinational technological corporations, mobile banking, media globalization, mechanization of manufacturing, etc.
Political globalization. Political globalization refers to the growth of the worldwide political system, both in size and complexity. That system includes national governments, their governmental and intergovernmental organizations, as well as government independent elements of global civil society such as international non governmental organizations and social movement organizations. One of the key aspects of the political globalization is the declining importance of the nation state and the rise of other actors on the political scene. The creation and existence of the United Nations is called one of the classic examples of political globalization. Political globalization takes place on three levels: in international agreements and contracts, in international organizations, and around the world as a result of the internet communication system.
Sociology of globalization. Globalization, according to sociologists, is an ongoing process that involves interconnected changes in the economic, cultural, social, and political spheres of society. The sociology of globalization focuses its attention to the study of the changes and the consequences that have been brought about in the country as a result of this globalization. Sociological globalization studies the changing labor relations, economic exchange, the changing political scenario with the integration of the world economies. Moreover, they focus their study on the changing in the cultural aspect of the society.
Ecological globalization. Ecosystems are constantly exchanging materials through the movement of the air in the atmosphere, the flow of water in the river, and migration of animals across the landscape. People, however, have also established themselves as another major driver of connectivity among ecosystems. In the June 2008 special issue of Frontiers in the Ecology and Environment titled Continental Scale Ecology in an Increasingly Connected World, ecologists discuss how human influence interact with natural processes to influence connectivity at the continental scale. The authors conclude that the network of the large-scale experiments are needed to predict long-term ecological change. Ecologists hope that understanding the patterns of connectivity within and among the ecosystems will lead to more accurate predictions of future ecological change.
Cultural globalization refers to the rapid movement of ideas, attitudes, meanings, values, and cultural products across national borders. It refers specifically to the idea that there is now a global and common monoculture transmitted and reinforced by the internet, popular entertainment, transnational marketing of particular brands, and international tourism that transcends local cultural traditions and lifestyles, and that shapes the perceptions, aspirations, tastes, and everyday activities of people wherever they may live in the world. Migration is an important aspect of cultural globalization. This process has been going on for several centuries, with languages, religious beliefs, and values being spread by military conquest, missionary work, and trade. The globalization of sport is another fairly obvious example of cultural globalization. Most notably, the World Cup and the Olympics and Formula One, which bind millions together in a shared, truly global leisure experience.
Economic globalization refers to the increasing interdependence of world economies as a result of the growing scale of cross-border trade of commodities and services, flow of international capital, and wide and rapid spread of technologies. It reflects the continuing expansion and mutual integration of market frontiers and is an irreversible trend for the economic development in the whole world at the turn of the millennium. The rapid growing significance of information in all types of productive activities and marketization are the two major driving forces for economic globalization. In other words, the fast globalization of the world's economies in recent years is largely based on the rapid development of science and technologies has resulted from the environment in which market economic system has been fast spreading throughout the world and has been developed on the basis of increasing cross-border division of labor that has been penetrating down on the level of production chain within enterprises of different countries.
Financial globalization. Financial globalization is defined as the integration of financial markets of all countries of the world into one. It is an aggregate concept that refers to increasing global linkages created through cross-border financial flows. Financial globalization helps to put capital flows to the most efficient and productive use and ensure that executives are performing at their best. It also promotes the development of the financial sector and its stability in developing countries, and in doing so mitigates the negative effect of nominal exchange rate volatility on growth. An example of financial globalization is stock markets. Stock markets is a great example of the financially connected global world, since when one stock market has a decline, it affects other markets negatively as well as the economy as a whole.
The 8 types of globalization are not as distinct as you might first think. One type of globalization may have similar characteristics of another, and they may influence one another. You could think of these types as a Venn diagram where features overlap rather than distinct silos. Getting your head around this can prevent a lot of confusion around which aspect of globalization fits within which definition. It may fit within multiple.
Every coin has two sides. Globalization also has its own benefits and drawbacks. Some benefits are 1. Global market. Today, the world has become a global market. Products invented in the developed countries are produced and sold in many developing countries. Competition. This has resulted in some innovations, and the quality of goods and services has improved and the prices have also dropped. Better job opportunities. More job opportunities for the educated and skilled youth are available. Advances in technology. For quick data transfer and public communication, innovations have been made in technology. Some drawbacks are 1. Job insecurity. People are seeking employment all around the world. Cheap labor is available and employers take advantage of this, as they can easily find skilled workers who are ready to be paid less. Unskilled laborers find it hard to get jobs. 2. Price instability. There is a difference in the prices of products based on the advantage of raw materials, labor, and place of production. 3. Currency fluctuation. International trade is done using US dollars, so the fluctuation in the price of dollar results in imbalanced economy.
The pandemic crisis has contributed to the slowing pace of globalization. To make sure there is an upswing once the crisis is over, policymakers can actively develop and deepen regional cooperation and integration. Multilateralism is the way forward to ensure an equitable process of globalization and enhance social prosperity. A higher absorption of digital technologies is a significant determinant for a long-term productivity and necessary for a speedy recovery after COVID-19 with a different type of globalization this time. A type of globalization that is more intangible and better supported by digital technologies. So friends, let us all hope we soon recover from this pandemic situation and hope for a bright future ahead. Thank you.